Well, good morning to everyone. We are going to begin with our chanting and meditation. So let's begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, Beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, Saints of all religions, Beloved Swamiji, we humbly bow to you all. Divine Mother, bless this meditation. Fill us with your joy, your divine love, and may we share these blessings with all souls. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. The night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Good morning to everyone. We'll begin our fire ceremony and welcome to our satsang here in Bangalore. Om Bhur Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayatu. Om Bhurvubhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayatu. Om Bhurvubhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayatu. Om Bhurvubhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayatu. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayatu. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Harniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayatu. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayatu. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamritat Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, beloved Swamiji, we bow to you again and again. Divine Mother, bless this satsang. We deeply yearn for thee. Awaken us from this dream. Chant through us. Meditate through us. Pray through us. We want to only be your instruments, sharing your blessings with souls everywhere. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, get all drunk with thy name. I will sing thy name, I will drink thy name, get all drunk with thy name. Om Christ, 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 Om. I will sing Thy name, I will drink Thy name. Yet all wrong go. Thy name I will sing, Thy name I will drink Thy name. Yet all wrong go. Thy name. Om Bhakti, Om Bhakti, Om Bhakti, Om. 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 I will sing Thy name, I will drink Thy name. Get all the wrong go. Thy name I will sing. Thy name I will drink Thy name. Get all the wrong go. Thy name. Om Miri, Om Miri, Om Miri, Om. 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 I will sing Thy name, I will drink Thy name. Get all the wrong go. Thy name I will sing. Thy name I will drink Thy name. Get all the wrong go. Thy name. Shri Yukteswar, Shri Yukteswar, Om. 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 I will sing Thy name, I will drink Thy name. Get all the wrong go. Thy name I will sing. Thy name I will drink Thy name. Get all the wrong go. Thy name. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om. Om Guru, Om Guru, Om Guru, Om.
And this morning the affirmation is on high-mindedness. And this is what Swamiji wrote about this quality of high-mindedness. People often speak of cynicism as the mark of realism. In fact, in a universe without any visible center, one might justifiably develop his understanding of it from any conceivable starting point. One's understanding, however, will only reflect who and what he himself is. A view from the depths lacks the perspective that can be achieved from the heights. From the mountaintop, all things are seen in their true proportion. Strive always to be a channel for high thoughts and inspirations. Never cooperate with anything petty or mean. Remember, the universe is, for each human being, both a mirror and an affirmation. One who entertains high thoughts will be himself ennobled. So let's affirm together. Close your eyes. Concentrate deeply, the point between the eyebrows, and with a lot of energy and willingness, let's affirm together. I will see goodness in everything. I will view the world around me not from the depths of matter attachment, but from the heights of divine inspiration. I will see goodness in everything. I will view the world around me not from the depths of matter attachment, but from the heights of divine aspiration. A little more quietly. I will see goodness in everything. I will view the world around me not from the depths of matter attachment, but from the heights of divine aspiration. And now in a whisper, I will see goodness in everything. I will view the world around me not from the depths of matter attachment, but from the heights of divine aspiration. And now silently deep within your soul, concentrating with all of your energy, I will see goodness in everything. I will view the world around me, not from the depths of matter attachment, but from the heights of divine inspiration. In the prayer, Lord, the universe was made in thine image of perfection. Help me to bring out that image in others by blessing them in thy love. Om Shanti Shanti. Amen.
Okay, now we have a lovely and inspiring video by Nayaswami's Jyotishan Devi.
Hello. We want to give you our deep greetings and blessings on Swami's upcoming birthday.
And it's such a joy as the years go by when Swami left the body. His presence with us seems to grow stronger and stronger. So on the anniversary of his birthday, 19th, it's a good time to really try to open our hearts and our minds and feel his blessings.
You know, I just finished writing a blog, Swami's birthday, and some of his wonderful qualities, kindness, divine friendship, expansiveness, and so on. There are so many aspects to Swami and facets to what he is and what he did in this lifetime. And we could talk about many of those. But I thought for this short little talk that Devi and I are giving for this year's birthday anniversary of Swamiji, to talk about how he dealt with adversity. Because obviously, right now, the world is seeing a lot of adversity, and we've been in connection with our Sangha in India quite a lot lately. And of course, you know that the pandemic has really flared up there. And then they just got hit with a cyclone, and we're getting videos from our friends there of flooding going on. So I thought that it would be helpful to just touch on how Swamiji dealt with adversity and to reinforce the fact that Ananda, by extension, is doing exactly what he and Master would like us to do. Honestly, I think he and Master are very proud or gratified with the way that Ananda people are behaving at this time. But let me come back to dealing with adversity. Swamiji, of course, you know, dealt with tremendous adversity. Many outside forces trying to, um, I don't know, attack him or limit him, and not only outside forces, but he had almost all his adult life, he had physical karma, diseases, and conditions that he was dealing with. You know, we feel that he was really taking on people's karma, or at least karma for the work of Ananda that was being done. One time, Devi and I, in starting our work in Italy, it was a very difficult first winter there. And when Swami visited, he didn't really commiserate with us. He just said, no great work is done without someone's tapasya. Well, Ananda is a great work. Master told Swamiji, you have a great work to do, and a great work is not done without someone's tapasya. And Swami did a lot of tapasya on behalf of the world, but specifically on behalf of all of us who are watching this little video. So how did Swamiji deal with adversity, and how is it a model for us to deal with these times of crisis? First of all, he absolutely refused to accept the fact that adversity was unfair. One time he was going through a health crisis, and someone said, half joking to him, "Oh, Divine Mother, it's just not fair to you, Swami." And he replied very seriously, he said, "Never say that. Never ever say that. Divine Mother gives us exactly what we need, and it's always given out of love." And he was very serious about that. So the first thing is to accept what comes, not as negative, but as a gift of love from Divine Mother. Now, love can be expressed in many ways. In this sense, it's being expressed as difficulty to help free us from our karma, but also to allow us to be channels of her compassion, of her light, of her desire to help people in the world. And so always accept whatever comes. That was the first thing that Swami modeled for us. Secondly, never allow yourself, if possible, to put out negative energy. He always put out positive energy. There were many, many reasons to complain or reasons to blame someone else. What good is that? In many cases, it's an impersonal force. Who are you going to blame for that? Well, you can blame governments. If you want to blame, you can always find somebody. But he never went there. So instead of putting out negating energy, put out positive energy and ask not, why did this happen, or, oh, poor me, but what can I do? And especially, what can I do to help others? When we help others, our hearts expand. And through that expanded heart, then Divine Mother's qualities of love and friendship and compassion and caring about people, she needs expanded hearts for those people, for those qualities to flow. And Swamiji had a huge expanded heart. Even physically, you could see his erect posture and his heart energy leading like the prow of a ship as he went through life. So accept what's happening, put out positive energy, and then the final quality is deep, deep attunement with Master and with Divine Mother and the line of Masters behind. Because all of us, including Swamiji, struggle to a certain extent with adversity. That's the reason that adversity comes. But we are never, ever alone in having to struggle with it. God is always on our side, and Master is always there, helping us and guiding us if we only open ourselves to it. And discipleship and attunement are the way to do that. And Swamiji just was such a beautiful example of both of those qualities. So as I said, there are many, many facets to Swamiji's life, and I don't want to seem as if this little concentration on this facet is unbalanced, because I could talk about many other things, but it seemed an apt subject or an apt way to pick up this little remembrance of Swami for this year. God bless you.
Hello, friends. Well, it's a great joy to share with you today some reminiscences and thoughts about Swami Kriyananda. There's a very touching and moving shloka, verse in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says to Arjuna asks, who is the better yogi, he who worships God in an unmanifest form or in form? And Krishna's response is, very difficult is the way to worship God in the unmanifest. The yogi is easier for him to direct the heart's natural feeling to a form. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the essence of it. And that's what Swamiji gave to all of us. He really taught me the meaning of divine love and divine friendship. And he did it in such a beautiful way, watching him relate to not only us, but to everyone. And, you know, we have, Swami always was very clear, I'm not the guru, Master's the guru. But Master, we can, you know, we can idealize him, we can sort of project things onto him, but it's, again, it's a little bit like the unmanifest. But Swami was God in action for us, the divine within him. And he always, how did he project this divine love and friendship? First of all, from the very moment I met him, and without exception, for the many decades I was with him, there was never a moment when he projected to me a feeling of diminished self-worth about myself. It was always relating to the God in me, relating to the highest in me. And it wasn't that I always came up to the mark, that he didn't. There were times when he needed to correct me. When he gave me the spiritual name Devi, he said, looked at me very sternly, one might almost say, and he said, I'm going to give you the name Devi, and it means Divine Mother, and you'd better live up to it. But he was projecting to me, you can do this. It wasn't like it was a scolding, but he projected to me in that moment the vibration, and he was saying, hold on to this and live it, and you will become it. And that's what he did in so many ways. I remember when he first asked me, Jyotish and me, to speak at a big public venue. And it was in San Francisco at this big, he was giving a big lecture series at a big auditorium, the Palace of Fine Arts it was, for those of you who know it. And the night before, he gave lectures all weekend, then he was going to be leading the Sunday Satsang, or Sunday service. And he said to Jyotish and I the night before, I want you to give part of the talk. I had never spoken in public before, maybe little groups, but I was scared to death. And we were sitting in the front row, and he said, I'll call you up at the right moment. And as I could tell he was wrapping up his speech, and I admit with great shame that the mantra in my mind going on was, I can't do this, I can't do this, there's no way I can do this. And then it was the moment for me to go up and speak. And I literally felt Swami's energy reaching out to my heart and mind, uplifting me, bringing me up onto the stage. And I spoke, and it went easily. I don't know how well, but at least it went easily for me. And that formed the direction of my life. But again, it was like, you can do this. And not in a personal way, not, oh, you're my little sweet friend, or you're my special darling, not at all. But it was that power of the impersonal through the personal friendship and love of Swami Kriyananda that made me believe in my own spiritual value. And that's the greatest gift he could give to us. You've often heard us quote this, perhaps. He'd walk into a room of people, and in the beginning, we were just not new novices on the spiritual path. And he'd walk in and with complete sincerity, but power and affirmation, he would say, good morning, all you great souls. And at first, you know, we would kind of look around to see who he was speaking to, but then we came to realize he was speaking to us. He was affirming our own spiritual self-worth, value, that we were not in and of ourselves because we were so smart or so eloquent or whatever, but that we were children of God. And that was our value, and that was the best part of us, the highest. And we saw him doing this with people all over the world. I never saw someone in his presence, even if it was a casual encounter with a store clerk or somebody waiting in an airport, where I felt he uplifted their energy. He made them feel something about themselves that maybe he hadn't ever done before. Okay, so now Swami left the body in 2013, but we can, by listening to his voice lecturing, by listening to his music, singing, and the way he chanted and the way he talked about Master and wrote about Master, we can feel his vibration and take it as his way of uplifting you. He often said, if you listen to his talks, he said, I don't want it to convert you to anything but your own highest self, your own higher self. And that's what he was doing with all of us, converting us to our own higher self. And we can still work with him in that spirit of divine love and friendship and try to discover within ourselves, see us the way Swami saw us, the way he sees us, the way he sees you, even if you never met him. He sees you from his place in Master's bosom as a child of God. And all the rest of it is just dust on the surface that can easily be wiped away. So thank you, Swamiji. We honor your birthday. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for continuing to believe in every soul that comes to Master's Ray with an open and sincere heart. We are grateful to you beyond any words of expression.
Haridas ji, kindly unmute yourself. So you were muted during the video.
There we go. And once again, good morning to everyone. I remember so clearly when I first came to Ananda, Swami had just moved up. He had been working in San Francisco, in the city, teaching classes, doing so many activities in order to build the seclusion retreat and the village as well. And when I first arrived, I was absolutely floating. I don't think I can describe it in any other way. As I was walking around the seclusion retreat, our original property, and I just couldn't believe my good fortune that here were these wonderful people, all angels as they continue to be, and you know, so kind, and all I could think of is, I just hope I can stay. And as it worked out, I was able to, my good fortune. Well, about 5 weeks after I arrived, this was in the spring of 1970, the temple burnt down. And again, Swami had been working extremely hard to build all the buildings at the seclusion retreat. We had just purchased the village, but there was really nothing there at the time. The whole focus was at the seclusion retreat where he was there living. And imagine for him, not to mention all of us, when the temple burnt down. And there were about 3 or 4 of us that were there just looking at the embers, just in a state of complete shock. The building went down very, very quickly, a wooden structure, and all there was then was this huge area of bright burning coals. And so we just stood there for a while and no one spoke. And then at one point, Swami walked off to his nearby dome where he lived. And he told us later, which really has become a classic story at Ananda, that in the beginning he was, as we all were, but especially he, after working so hard, he was completely numb. And he just didn't, he couldn't believe what had happened. And so at one point, he knew that he had to talk to Divine Mother and just say, I didn't do any of this for myself. I did this for you. And so you've taken the temple away. We'll rebuild, we'll continue on. And that numbness began to recede. And in its place, this great river of joy, this great bliss. And so as the story goes on, the bliss was so strong in his heart, in his consciousness, that he said to Divine Mother, if I had known that by taking the temple there would be so much bliss, then I would have said, take the dining room as well. And that became, again, a classic story at Ananda, as it continues to be, because even though that experience was just numbing, no other word for it, still, he always, as Jyotish and Devi were sharing so sweetly and eloquently, he always rose to the occasion. And in this instance, it took him a little bit of time. It would have been that experience for any of us that had been in his shoes. But because all he cared about was serving, he was able to offer it up to God. Another story he shared is that when then the community burnt down 6 years later, incredible, and took almost all of our homes and burnt 2/3 of our acreage. He went to a nearby store and he was singing, and the lady there at the store, very close to Ananda village, was just stunned. How could he possibly be singing when he had just undergone this tragedy? And so he said, well, why shouldn't I be singing? You know, in weeks and in months, days, whatever it might take, I will be, through this experience, out the other side. So why not be singing now? And she said, my house burnt down some time ago and I'm still weeping about it. And that's, again, the experience that a lot of people do have that do not have an inner life. When God comes, remember, God giveth, God taketh away, as it says in the Bible. And when he takes these things away, he's only taking these things away, if we have the right attitude and the right spirit, only so that he can give us more blessings. And it takes the right attitude. And so in this experience that we're all having as world citizens, this pandemic is not meant, although again it appears to be so tragic, and it is in so many people's lives, ultimately it's not meant to hurt, it's meant to purify. It's meant to take us into another state of consciousness, another state of acceptance, as Jyotish was talking about, where we can really, as children of God, feel that we are being taken care of. I remember when Anandamoyi Ma was approached by one of her disciples, and this disciple was very, very concerned that this world was basically falling apart, and it still is, and that was some years ago. And she said, very wisely, she said, don't you think that the creator of this world knows also how to take care of it? And so for us, we need always the longer rhythm so that we have, the hope of keeping our spirits up. I was sharing with a friend recently, and I said, it's just remarkable how people are keeping their spirits up through this, tremendous test that we're all having. And to me, it's nothing short of a miracle, because this world is constantly testing us. inwardly and outwardly, trying to keep us off track, take us off of our center. And when a test of this magnitude comes, then we again are challenged beyond, I think, what perhaps any of us have ever experienced. But as Swamiji said, I don't know how people are able to even live without meditation. And he felt the same about prayer. And because we are fortunate to have an inner life, that's where the strength comes from. That's where the joy comes from. That's where the love comes from. And so when these experiences come that are in some instances crushing people, then somehow, some way, we find ourselves able to rise to the occasion. And it's very, very important in an experience such as this to suspend our desire as to when will this end. We don't know. It's out of our hands. It's the same as when will we be free. We don't know. But if we keep to the basics, then it's simply love God. When we keep to the basics, it's simply meditate, keep the sadhana strong. Matter of fact, go deeper than ever before, because we need this inspiration that wells up from our own souls to share. Because this is what's needed now, sharing on any level that we can think of, certainly through prayer, but in any means. And we're more able to share if we are able then to detach ourselves from our own experiences that we are undergoing, put them to the side to the extent that we can, so that we can focus and concentrate rather on being an instrument, knowing that indeed God does everything for the best. So there will be a point where we will be free of this incredible challenge worldwide, and we will look back on it. And I think many, many people, especially those with an inner life, will see, well, it was hard, and we lost loved ones, and so many things were, really, really hard to bear. But this was needed. There are those times when God needs to really drive home a point with real force in order for us to understand that we need to change. We need to live more in the light. We need to be more and more instruments for the light. That's what little tests are about, medium-sized and then colossal tests as we are experiencing. We are here to help. And really, I feel that all of us with an inner life especially, but so many others, have reincarnated specifically at this time to help. And in this spirit, we are helping. And it's making a difference in small ways, in so many ways. And that really, for us, is very, very important, that we let go and let God. He knows what He's doing, and He's going to, through this experience, as we go through this tunnel. And the light, of course, is always at the end of the tunnel. As He's taking us through this experience, we will find, and it may take some time, but we will find that this experience was very important to open our hearts, to keep our minds bright, to ensure that our spirits are generous and expansive. So, again, God bless you all. It was certainly a joy to have Jyotish and Devi with us this morning. And again, it's a joy to be with all of you. So we'll now have our Aarti and blessing. Yeah. Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram.
Now we'd like to invite those of you who would like to receive a blessing from the Masters. And as you receive this blessing, offer a prayer of gratitude to the infinite Christ, in whose love our line of Masters have descended, that we might all come to God. And pray too for the grace to share with all as you have received, for you are part of all that is. May the light of the great Masters shine upon you. Now we'd like to close our satsang with an astral ascension ceremony. We are going to be blessing Tej Karen and Venkatesh and Madhavi. And these souls have been on our healing prayer list for a while, and they have passed on to the astral world. So we're going to do a very short astral ceremony for them. So we'll just begin. So hold these souls in the light, see them surrounded with God's love, and see the gurus welcoming them into the astral world and blessing them with all of their love. Dear friends, you who have gone before us have entered a realm which our souls remember, a place of freedom, light, and laughter. Take with you on your journey our blessings and our love. We shall miss you. Our desire is not to hold you back, but only to tell you, friend, we are yours. Our love and support are ever yours, and our prayers for your highest happiness. We shall meet again. Once more we shall laugh together, rejoice together, and share in the joy of seeking Him. Claim your soul's freedom. Bless all who ever harmed you or ever wished you harm. Give them your love and your prayer for their freedom in God. Friend, cast from your heart all outward attachments. Realize that earthly goals, however shining, are but dreams. God is the only reality. Burn your earthly desires in the fire of wisdom. Burn earthly limitations in the blaze of inner freedom. Burn earthly disappointments in the flames of spreading peace. Burn earthly joys in the bonfire of divine bliss. See your physical form as a discarded garment. Clothed you are now in garments of radiant light. O free soul, see your past actions as scenes in a vast unfolding tapestry. Feast not your gaze wistfully on episodes already finished, but look ahead. New adventures await you, fresh, joyous victories as you advance toward perfect freedom. And what of us, who love you and would be remembered by you? Behold us as threads of light in the tapestry of your life, threads which through the magnet of soul friendship will appear ever and again, woven with increasing beauty as our hearts expand together in God's love. Divine Mother, receive these children, purify them in thy perfect light and love. Grant them eternal freedom in thee. Now we'll place some flowers on the altar. And the red flowers, they symbolize life in God and the purity of expression of the departed soul. And the red rose symbolizes the bouquet of love and goodwill of the entire congregation. The burning incense symbolizes the earth life of the departed, which is gradually disappearing and finding its greater existence in the spirit. And now Haridas will read from Whispers from Eternity, Master's poem, Thou and I Are One.
Thy cosmic life and I are one. Thou art the ocean and I am the wave. We are one. Thou art the flame and I am the spark. We are one. Thou art the flower and I am the fragrance. We are one. Thou art the Father and I am thy child. We are one. Thou art the beloved and I am the lover. We are one. Thou art the lover and I am the beloved. We are one. Thou art the song and I am the music. We are one. Thou art the spirit and I am all nature. We are one. Thou art my friend. I am thy friend. We are one. Thou art the master and I am thy servant. We are one. Thou art my mother. I am thy son. We are one. Thou art my master. I am thy disciple. We are one. Thou art the ocean. I am the drop. We are one. Thou art all laughter. I am a smile. We are one. Thou art the light, and I am the atom. We are one. Thou art consciousness. I am the thought. We are one. Thou art eternal power, and I am strength. We are one. Thy peace and I are one. Thy joy and I are one. Thy wisdom and I are one. Thy love and I are one. That is why thou and I are one. Thou and I were one, and thou and I will be one evermore.
And I'd like to, before we bless these souls with a prayer at the end, I just wanted to share a story that has always been very inspiring for me, that Swamiji used to tell us. And it is about trust in God and love for God and attachment to this world. There was this holy man who was very much in love with God, very much in love. And he experienced great ecstasies, and in his sadhana, he had given his whole life to God. And he told Divine Mother that whenever you want me to come, I will come. Whenever. Call me whenever you want. I have nothing in this world that is important to me, and I only want to be with you. So whenever you want me, please, I will go willingly and immediately. I will just let go and come to you, and I want nothing more than to come home to your loving arms. And so this man was a very saintly man. He was married, and he loved his wife, and they had a child, and he loved his child, and he was very happy in this situation, considered his wife and his child a great blessing from God, and he put all of his energy into being the best householder, father that he could as an instrument for Divine Mother. And one day his wife died, very young, right after the baby was born. She passed away. She died in childbirth. And he was just extremely sad. And he had the child, the newborn baby, and he promised himself that he would keep this baby and raise this baby and into adulthood, and that he would always protect this baby. Well, just at the moment after he had said that prayer, Divine Mother said to him, I want you to come home now. And he didn't hesitate. He said, yes, I want to come. I promised you I would come, but what am I to do? What am I to do? I have my son here. Who will take care of my son? How could I possibly leave my son? How can I possibly just let go of him? Who would take care of him? What's going to happen? And Divine Mother said, I want you to come home now. And he said, okay, but just give me this one promise, Divine Mother, please. I have this one wish that I have you to grant me before I leave. I want to come and I will come, but you have to assure me that my son will be taken care of, that I will not leave him in suffering. And so he made that decision, and he placed the baby in a little patch of grass by the road, and he went away. And just as he was leaving his body, down the road came the carriage, the golden carriage of the princess from the royal family that ruled the land. And she came with her carriage and all of her entourage, and she saw the baby, and she picked up the baby, and the baby was raised in the palace by a very loving mother and father. And so that great soul, the saint, was able to leave, but he said yes before he knew the outcome. That's the point, that we need to trust that when Divine Mother takes us, and Divine Mother gives us tests that are beyond our understanding, that we need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that everything will be just as it should be, and that she loves us so much that yes, she will honor our wishes. After we leave the body, our families will be taken care of. If we're the ones left behind, our loved ones will go into the light and we will be taken care of. We need to trust that Divine Mother's love is all encompassing. It's totally unconditional. And she will give us what we need to find her and to come home. So our responsibility in this life and death situation and in these tests that we're given is to completely rest in Divine Mother's arms and know beyond a shadow of a doubt that in the best way possible, in ways that we can never conceive of, that we will be taken care of if we love her. That's all she wants is our love. And this saintly man loved her, and she knew it. And so this little baby was taken care of. What a test for him, but what a test for us. This may be a little extreme to even think about, but every day we are given the choice to choose light and love and Divine Mother, or to choose worry and anxiety and control. We don't need to do that anymore because Divine Mother, through this test in this world right now, and so many people needing her, she's more present than ever. And so our prayer should be, I love you, how can I serve you? I know you'll take care of everything, and I will rest in your love. I will give you my family, I will give you my riches, I will give you my career, I will give you my life, because I trust you, I love you. And soon, that veil that is separating us from knowing that we are enveloped in that love at all times, it will disappear. It will be like a cloud, and it will go out of our consciousness. And the only thing that will remain will be that love, that unconditional divine love. And nothing will ever separate us from that again. So I wanted to share that story. It's always been very meaningful for me. We hold tight to the things of this world and we think we're in control, and only we can be the ones to make this safe for our children and for our families and for this world. Only we're in charge. We're not. We're not in charge. And then when we can realize that and just melt into Divine Mother's arms, what a feeling of protection and security will come over us. What a feeling of knowing that beyond a shadow of a doubt, God is with us. So with those words, I'd like to close by blessing these souls that have passed away and their families, their loved ones, and pray that they know that they are being taken care of, that they are filled with light, that they are always protected, that they are secure in the knowledge that their loved one that has gone on is very close in their hearts, in their minds, and in their souls, and that they are in bliss, and we should cherish their bliss that they are experiencing, and with gracious gratitude, thank God and Divine Mother for taking care of us during these times. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent, thou art in all thy children, thou art in these souls, thou art in all of us. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, in all minds, and in all souls.
Okay, you guys. Happy weekend. Good to see you all. Have
Thanks
a
for being
good
here.
rest of your day.